In this screencast recording, I'm going to show you how to use GarageBand to create a great podcast in conjunction with Podigee. The first thing you're going to want to do is open up GarageBand and click on New Project. Click Podcast. And it's going to ask you to save your podcast. I'm going to entitle this Valerie. And the first thing I'm going to want to do is import my audio file. I have a Skype recording that I made with a friend, and her name is Valerie. So I'm going to import her audio file to GarageBand. So I've got Valerie here, and I'm going to zoom out a bit so I can see the entire file. Now for testing purposes, I'm just going to shorten this up here. Let's just do a couple minutes. And I'm zooming back in here using the slider on the left. Now to create a track or a chapter mark, just hit P on your keyboard and that'll create your first chapter mark. And for Valerie, I want to add a picture to this. That'll show up online on the web player. It'll also show up in Client's podcast app. So I've got a few pictures of Valerie here saved. Here's the first one that I want to use. I'm just going to drag that over to this chapter mark. I also want to put Valerie's Twitter. I'm just going to entitle this chapter Valerie. And the nice thing about using GarageBand is that it'll help you place your chapter marks exactly where you want them. And for the URL, I'm going to grab Valerie's Twitter, which is up here. Now I'm going to zoom out a little, and I'm going to place another chapter mark. Right at about a minute. I'm going to hit P again, and I need that chapter mark it's assuming that it's going to be a lot longer, and I want it to be right on with my audio. To do that, I'm going to go to Edit or Control and Show Alignment Guides. And this will help me make sure that my tracks are exactly where I want them. I'm going to add another picture. For this chapter, though, I don't need a URL. For example, here, I may have asked Valerie a question. This podcast is about fitness, so I'm going to say, how did you get started running? How did you get started running? And you can see up here on GarageBand, there's a lot of different levels. Valerie's mic was set much higher than mine. And the great thing about Podigee is that it's going to level that all out and make it sound amazing. Now you're going to want to, when you share this, you're going to export it to disk, and you want to use the AAC encoder. That'll make sure all your chapter marks are maintained. And I want you to export it at the highest quality setting, 320 kbs. I'm going to show you how to do that. 320 kbs, highest quality, and mono. Click OK, export. And I'm just going to title this Valerie Test Podcast. Save it. And this is just an easy way for me to create chapters and links. But Podigee does all the fancy audio to make it sound great. I'm going to go to my Podigee account, click New Episode. And I'm going to select my file. I believe I saved it to the desktop. Valerie Podcast Test. Shows her picture there. Open. And it's starting to upload the file. Now I'm just going to add some notes. Let's do Valerie Test Podcast. And to get that permalink URL, I'm going to click copy here. Subtitle, I talk with Valerie about running. Description, you can add a description if you like. We have a lot of fun talking about running and weightlifting. Show notes. At this point, I don't need any show notes. I'm just showing you how to create chapters and links using GarageBand, which means that you won't be doing anything here in the chapter marks area. At this point, my podcast file is uploaded, so I'm just gonna, and I have a few description and a subtitle, so I'm gonna hit encode. It's asking me if I want to encode the file now. Yes. Okay, my file is done encoding, and what we can do now is we can either publish now or we can hit preview to see what it looks like. And as you'll see, Valerie's picture shows up here, and how did you get started running here with a picture of her running shows up. I can also click on the link to her Twitter profile. I can hit play and see how it sounds. And Valerie and I are just talking there. You can't hear because my earbuds are in. But that's how you get started podcasting with Podigee and GarageBand.